Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting for November 17th, 2020. I would like to start tonight by offering our thoughts and prayers to the family of Mr. David Weaver. Mr. Weaver passed away last week and was laid to rest this afternoon after serving at the wastewater treatment plant for the past 44 years under the management of the City of Victoria and GBRA. We're grateful for his service to our community. As we approach the Thanksgiving holiday, we want to acknowledge the many things we have to be grateful for. Despite what has been a very difficult year for our city, state, and nation, locally we are grateful for the resiliency of our local economy, for the strength of our bond as a community, and for the relief we have seen from the high case counts we experienced this summer. We would encourage you to consider the need for your family gathering and to weigh that against the potential costs of another rise in cases. Across the country, we're seeing a new wave of rising cases, and we all must be diligent in our efforts to keep that from happening in Victoria. Please take time this holiday season to show your love to your friends and family by protecting them from any potential exposure to this terrible virus. Although we have resumed in-person meetings, the risk of spreading and contracting COVID-19 is still a reality. Seating in the council chambers is limited to allow for local social distancing, and there are many residents who may be in our high-risk population. For those reasons, we will also continue allowing citizens participation through video conference. To learn about all the ways you can watch the meeting and participate remotely, we encourage you to visit www.victoriatx.gov/talk-to-council. There are many options for how people can participate in our meeting tonight, ranging from watching on TV or speaking in citizens' comments through Zoom. At this time, I will ask our city secretary to call the roll.
Councilman De La Garza?
I am present.
Mayor Pro Tem Solis? Here. Councilman Bucknight?
Here.
Councilwoman Scott?
Present.
Councilman Young?
Present.
Councilman Lofgren?
Here.
And Mayor McCoy?
Here. We have a full quorum tonight, and with that, I will now open the meeting with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, I'd like to welcome guests tonight, whether here in person or on TV. Do we have some announcements, Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We do have some announcements for you tonight. I want to start off with a very special announcement that's going to be spearheaded by Joel with the CVB. He'll be introducing some folks and making some special recognitions on some designations that the city just recently acquired. Joel?
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for having me this evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm happy to announce this evening Victoria's dual certification as a Texas film-friendly and a Texas music-friendly community. These are programs that are spearheaded through the Texas Film Commission and the Texas Music Office, both of the Office of the Governor of the State of Texas. And we have some special guests, I believe, joining us virtually this evening. We have Kim LeBlanc from the Texas Film Commission and Chip Adams of the Texas Music Office. I'd like to introduce Kim first.
Thank you so much, Joel. It's such an honor to be, well, not present with you, but virtually present with you. I'm here for this exciting occasion. As Joel mentioned, my name is Kim LeBlanc, and I serve as the Production and Community Relations Specialist at the Texas Film Commission, which is a division of the Office of the Governor's Economic Development and Tourism Division. And our office has been around since 1971. Our mission is to promote Texas as a premier media production destination. And one of the many ways that we do that is through our Film Friendly Texas program, which through training and certification processes, statewide communities such as Victoria are prepared to meet the opportunities and the challenges of accommodating on-location film activity and are ready to help match local businesses with media production related needs and services. On-location filming activity stimulates local economies by creating jobs for Texans and Texas-based crew members and local residents. And on-location filming activity generates on-site spending for local goods and services to small businesses. And while we know that media production is a means of entertainment and art, all kinds of other things, our office sees it as a means of economic development, job creation, and tourism opportunity. And this type of economic development is not limited to, but includes lodging, catering, transportation, location fees, lumber, construction supplies, local hires, and just about anything that you can imagine a film, TV, or commercial project might need if they should land in your community and want to do the work that they do. And we know that media production in Texas is a significant source of job creation for Texans. We know that it creates economic impact for Texas communities, and this is true pre-COVID in the Texas economy, and it remains even more true in the post-COVID Texas economy as well, as economies work to recover. And we are already seeing that economic recovery power from media production that it can bring to communities in Texas, and we want you in Victoria as a film-friendly certified community to be able to position yourself to receive these opportunities. Just as a quick snapshot, since the reopening of our media production industries in June through October 31st, we've had 104 projects registered with our office, which have created more than $174 million in spend, 8,390 total jobs for Texans, and 11,740 hotel room nights. So we know that our industries have a tremendous opportunity to share with communities across the state of Texas. And we are so excited to be here with y'all tonight and it's my honor to virtually present the Film Friendly Certificate of Completion to Victoria. And as Joel mentioned, this is an extremely exciting occasion for us because it's the first time that we are making a joint certification presentation for a community in Texas becoming film friendly and music friendly certified. So we are so thankful to have Victoria as a part of our statewide network of more than 150 film friendly certified communities. And our office would particularly like to thank Joel and also Nancy Britton with the Victoria CDB and the City of Victoria, who serve as our film-friendly community partners. And we appreciate them for proactively taking the initiative and spearheading and diligently putting in the time and the hard work necessary towards completing the requirements for film-friendly certification. We would also like to thank your mayor, your city council members, and other community leaders and stakeholders, particularly Anthony Pedoni, who is the founder of the Victoria Film Festival and has also been a Victoria-based filmmaker for a long time and had a good relationship with our office and a lot of enthusiasm for nudging this project along as well. In order to be film-friendly certified, you may be asking yourself, what exactly does that mean? That means that your community has made a commitment to attending a workshop, a training workshop held by our office, passed administratively enforceable film guidelines that promote media production in a way that's mutually beneficial for residents and industry professionals alike. And you've submitted photos of filming locations in your community for inclusion in our Texas Film Commission locations database. But Joel and Nancy haven't just stopped at becoming film-friendly certified. They know that there's a world of opportunity beyond that, and they've been wonderfully helpful community partners working with our office to know that film-friendly certification is really just the beginning. It's no secret that Victoria boasts a historic downtown that's brimming with rich history of film, music, arts, and culture. The dual certificate presentation today, I think, affirms that than anything. But your community has a treasure trove of unique and iconic potential filming locations too, and not just in city limits, but outside of town as well. The natural beauty of the Victoria area lends itself to a wide range of looks and versatile backdrops for any project. And for anyone who may not be familiar, Victoria has hosted a wide range of projects over the years. Some of the more recent projects include Lone Star Law, Dirty Money, Texas Country Reporter, Trey the Texas Medium, the Texas Bucket List, and then some other projects include Return to Honor, and an oldie but a goodie, the story of Dr. Wassel from 1944. So many communities can say that they've had filming going on in their communities since 1944. So all that to say, its proximity to Austin and Houston, both which are major production hub Texas, and its treasure trove of locations in its own right. Victoria is well situated to see the great benefits of media production as a means of economic development, local spending, job creation, economic recovery, tourism opportunity, and a source of long-lasting community pride. And we are so happy to welcome Victoria into this program, and we know that Victoria is now ready to welcome even more opportunities and for more projects. This is the princess of film friendly here, my daughter Hazel, age 4, who has decided she'd like to be a part of this celebration too. Here you go, baby. And so after all, we know that it's not just a matter of if a project is coming to your community, but when. And so we know that by being a part of a film-friendly program, your community is camera ready. And we can say that Victoria is not only camera ready, but ready for its close-up. And so we look forward to continuing to collaborate with your community as we work together to show filmmakers all that Victoria has to offer. And I'm so honored to be able to virtually celebrate this dually exciting milestone in your community. So congratulations again. And we are so glad to have Victoria as a film-friendly community. And with that, I'm happy to pass the mic to my wonderful colleague, Chip Adams with the Texas Music Office.
Hey everybody, thanks Kim. It's a lot to follow up. Worried about going second. Such a wonderful presentation, but thank you so much for having me today. My name is Chip Adams, and I am with the Texas Music Office. I am the Community Relations and Outreach Specialist, and I do apologize if you hear the soothing sounds of some leaf blowers out my window. Apparently my neighbors are now going to do their yard work, so I apologize. It's the thrill of telecommuting these days. I did have a short little presentation. Let's see if I cannot share that, so we'll start. But I'm super excited to be here with y'all today. I mean, what a wonderful thing to be able to do both certifications for film friendly and music friendly. It's truly something that's special. It's something that we've never gotten to do together before. So it's an extra special day for the city of Victoria, for those of us in the office of the governor. So first, real quickly, I'd like to talk just a bit about the Texas Music Office and what we do. Just like the Texas Film Commission, we are a part of the economic development and tourism of the Office of the Governor. So one of the main goals of the TMO is new business development. We are here to help build industry infrastructure and to create jobs in the music industry throughout the state. We are here to connect and network with industry professionals through our music industry resources, which also includes our Texas Music Industry Directory. It is something that it's a very unique thing for the state of Texas. I don't believe there's any other state that has a directory quite like this, which is free. It's open to the public, and we're nearing 16,000 entries in that at the moment, which ranges from pretty much every business that touches the music industry, everything from vinyl pressing plants and record shops, guitar, and music instrument repair places to our musicians and everything between. So it's really something unique, just like this music office itself. It's pretty neat to live in a state that values music as much as Texas does. Another thing we do, we have a license plate grant program, which for all of y'all watching this tonight, I hope you'll go to texasmusicoffice.com and check out our license plate grant program. It's helping us support the next generation of Texas musicians by actually helping students who need it to help provide them with music lessons and to also help put on events in underserved communities. So a really great way to help the Texas music industry. And then while we're here tonight is the Music Friendly Community Program. That's what I work on a day-to-day basis. And this is my favorite part of that job. I've only been doing this since December, but I can tell you, being a part of events like this, the celebratory portion where cities have shown how much they value their music industries, and they put the work in to go through the certification process and now get that certification and then continue the work to promote and grow their local music economies. A little bit more about the TMO. We are 30 years old. This is our 30th anniversary this year. So super happy to be around for 3 decades. Pretty amazing year for us. Our core functions are to serve as a clearinghouse for Texas music industry information, which is also through the directory, which I just shared the information on. We serve as a liaison between the music businesses and government offices and agencies. We publicize significant developments within the industry, and we also help attract essential music industry to Texas to help foster the economic development of music businesses and musicians. Now, one of the things I found to be really interesting when I joined the Texas Music Office was really the size and scope of our music industry within the state. It's a big state. We got just a mountain of amazing musicians in this state, but I didn't realize the financial impact that the music industry does have in Texas. When you look at the rip effect of pretty much everything that music touches, that translates to about 209,000 jobs, $6.5 billion in earnings, and 23.4 billion in annual economic activity. So Texas music, it's a big thing, both for our culture, our identities as Texans, and also a big part of our economy. Now, we're very happy to be welcoming Victoria to our music-friendly family. Right now, you are added to this list of amazing cities: Abilene, Alpine, Austin, Bastrop, Conroe, Denton, Fort Worth, Lindale, Lubbock, McKinney, Nacogdoches, New Braunfels, San Angelo, San Antonio, Stephenville, Waco, Waxahachie, and now Victoria. So for those of you who were not a part of the process, big thank you to Joel Novosad for his hard work at going through these steps. Similar to the Texas Film Commission, we asked that the city hosts a music-friendly communities workshop. We ask that each city establishes a liaison within the city of government, basically a central point of contact for us to develop the program. That central point of contact has to create an advisory board that works in partnership with our music office to help facilitate communication between the community's music industry and the music office. You have to register with our Texas Music Industry Directory, and then we sign mutually agreed upon memorandum of understanding, just so we can share that information between the Texas Music Industry Directory and y'all's own directory as well. So once you go through those steps, then the real fun begins when the advisory board begins to meet, have these regular discussions. Within the city, you start to collaborate, communicate more, find ways to promote the Victoria music industry, and to also connect the Victoria music industry with the other certified cities around the state. So with that, I am extraordinarily thrilled to welcome the city of Victoria as a certified music-friendly community. You guys are number 18, so welcome and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chip and Kim. That was wonderful. And so, again, just want to thank City Council and Mayor of City Council for their support, the City Manager's Office, as well as the legal department who did help us with a number of steps along the way. So it is a tremendous honor to be duly recognized by those two great programs. And we are just one of 14 cities that actually has those dual certifications. And there's a lot of very large cities on there. So it's great to be, our community have both of those certifications. So again, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Novosad. What you've done is commendable. Our little spot on the map's just a little bit bigger and brighter tonight, and thank you very much.
Great job. Thank you.
We can do that later. Okay.
It's just incredible how virtually they made the presentation and the paperwork appeared in Joel's hands.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
right.
phenomenal.
Yeah. And we'll make sure that we get, pictures, and that'd be appropriate for us to do in a proper setting. Thank you, Joel, for that. We're on track to have our announcements portion of the meeting last longer than the rest of the agenda. And so the next announcement that I have for tonight is today is actually another great day for us in our Parks Department as well. Today was day 2 for our new Parks Assistant Director, and I'd like to introduce her to you tonight. Kimberly Sigmont. She's sitting in the back, but I am going to put her on the spot, and I did give her a warning about that this morning. And so I'm just going to read a brief bio. Kimberly has over 9 years of experience in the field of recreation, including over 7 years of program management, policy writing, budgeting, and strategic planning. Kimberly's work experience includes working as a recreation facility manager with the city of Asheville, North Carolina, since 2016. She also worked as a recreation leader with the city of Ocala, Florida, between 2013 and 15, and then was promoted to the Discovery Center Coordinator Supervisor position, working in this role until she moved to Asheville. Kimberly graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Recreation and Parks Management from Appalachian State University, located in North Carolina. I think I got that right. She has also served her professional organization, National Recreation and Park Association, as the 2019-20 State Association co-chair for the association's Young Professional Network. We are thrilled and excited that she's joined our team. We're excited for her diverse experiences, and obviously it's coming at an appropriate time because of our Parks Master Planning efforts, which today was the kickoff, actually. And so she got thrown in right in the fire with that. But I'll turn it over to her to see if, A, I got everything right, and B, see if she wants to add anything.
That was great. Thank you so much. So I just want to say hello, I'm Kimberly, and thank you for the opportunity to Jesus, Mike, and Jason to join the community of Victoria. I'm really looking forward to serving the community here and assisting in achieving council goals. I'm really excited for it. We have a beautiful park system. We went to 13 parks today, so it's really exciting to start my career off here. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Those are all the announcements that we have for tonight, Mayor.
Okay, well, I think, Ms. Hibbert, I think we have a proclamation tonight for the National Hospice and Palliative Care Month.
Yes, sir. Whereas for more than 40 years, hospice has helped provide comfort and dignity to millions of people, allowing them to spend their final months at home surrounded by their loved ones. Whereas the hospice model involves an interdisciplinary, team-oriented approach to treatment, including expert medical care, quality symptom control, and comprehensive pain management as a foundation of care. Whereas beyond providing physical treatment, hospice attends to the patient's emotional, spiritual, and family needs and provides family services like respite care and bereavement counseling. And whereas palliative care delivers expertise to improve quality of life and relief from pain, can be provided at any time during an illness, and hospices are some of the best providers of community-based palliative care. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Raleigh McCoy, Mayor, by virtue of the authority vested by the City of Victoria, do hereby proclaim November 2020 as National Hospice and Palliative Care Month in Victoria, Texas, and encourage citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of care at the end of life, discuss their end-of-life wishes with their families, and observe this month with appropriate activities and programs.
We have someone here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna take a selfie too while I'm at it. All right, 1, 2, 3. Captain Moy can take a picture as well. I thought you were right behind me.
Are you both smiling?
I was thinking too.
Okay. We will now move on from items from council. Are there any items from council this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I was wondering if staff may provide a post-event synopsis of the Southside Community Cleanup that happened this last Saturday.
Absolutely. It was a great event. Obviously, it was in partnership with the Southside Coalition Group and others that participated in that, including the Be Well Victoria campaign. We're still working on finalizing some numbers, but I do have some preliminary numbers to share with you. I can tell you from being out there personally that one of the things that was very, as city manager, it was awesome to see was the number of employee employees and departments that participated. We literally had the majority of our city departments represented out there in one way or another, offering their services and helping educate the public. For example, we know that the fire department, through their fire marshal's office, distributed over 100 smoke detectors, which was part of what they were out there helping us do. We also know that they were able to administer a handful of flu shots, thanks to that COVID grant program that we explained at the last meeting as well. Of course, the big purpose of the event was to do a visual cleanup of the south side. While the exact tonnage is to be determined, we know that there was close to 50 piles of debris. Yeah, I was trying to think of the politically correct word to use there. Of debris that were put out, and so I'm sure Daryl will have more specifics on that once his team's able to get around to it. It was also a good opportunity for us to look at the infrastructure, quite frankly, and so there was also close to 30 potholes that were addressed, some sidewalk issues, and staff is continuing to work on some drainage inlet issues as well, because we recognize that our community's beautification isn't just the private residences' responsibility and the look of their properties, that of course code enforcement helps us keep up to date, but also our own infrastructure. And so it was a really good event all around, from both the private involvement, volunteers, as well as the city. I should probably also put out a shout out to Councilmember Young, Councilwoman Scott, and the mayor for being out there. And also special thanks to the East baseball team. They were out there in full force helping, and I know that that was a really good learning and growing experience for them as well. And again, we'll provide more details as we gain more stats on the event, but that's what I have to share with you tonight.
Thank you. It was a great event.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good day, good day. All right. Do we have any other items from council?
I just wanted to ask Joel, is he still here? Did you ever look into getting some small Christmas trees for the kids' ornaments to put around the big Christmas tree downtown?
That would have been Danielle.
Yeah.
Oh, Danielle
Councilwoman.
from the
Yeah.
Main Street? Okay,
What? She is looking into it.
great, thank you so much.
I just say what I'm told.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. He'll use that against me next time.
Okay. Tell her I would appreciate it.
Any other items from council? Hearing none, we'll move into citizens' communication. As a reminder, citizens' communication may be done either in person or through video conference. We would encourage anyone who has had any recent exposure to COVID-19 or those that may be at high-risk population to make use of the video conference option. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes in duration and will be received by audio only. There will not be an opportunity to provide any presentation or visual materials in person or via teleconference. Please remember to silence any cell phones, televisions, or other background noise so that we can clearly hear your comments. It is generally the practice of City Council not to respond to comments made during this time, but city staff will be available to follow up as necessary. Mr. Foote, is there anyone online? Okay, I do have one card. Mr. Cullen, Casey Cullen, if you please step forward.
Good evening, Council. My name is Casey Cullen. I'm an attorney here in Victoria, and I was advised to come to Council tonight to introduce myself to all of you, even though I'm pretty sure everybody knows who I am. I was advised because I applied to serve on the Victoria Sales Tax Development Corporation. I know there's 2 spots available. I'm a lifetime Victoria person. My family is here now. We have no intention on ever leaving. I wouldn't doubt it if my kids came back and raised their families here as well. I've always been looking for meaningful ways to give back to the community. Just a little bit about myself on some of the boards or committees I've served on. I served on St. Joseph High School School Board as soon as I moved back to Victoria after graduating law school for approximately 7 years. And I'm currently serving on a special needs and chronic illness camp in Rockport. It's called Camp Aransas. It has a very large budget and does very good work throughout all of Texas. In fact, Councilman Balkner and I are going to a fundraiser tomorrow for the camp in San Antonio. So I believe that my experience in dealing with boards and committees, as well as my involvement in Victoria and my legal experience could be a benefit to the Sales Tax Development Corporation. And I promise that if I'm selected, I will certainly give it my all to do what I think is in the best interest of the long-term future of Victoria. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cullen. Thank you for stepping forward. Are there anyone else that would like to speak to council, card or not, tonight? And is there anybody online? Hearing none, we'll move on to items with public hearings. Ms. Hilbrich?
Okay. We'll move on to item C1, which is an ordinance amending the 2020-2021 budget of the City of Victoria and carrying forward encumbrances outstanding at September 30th, 2020.
Can you bring that up, please? Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. IT is bringing up a little PowerPoint. She only lasts about an hour and a half, so don't worry about it. No, I got you one slide. I thought it'd be proper, go through the process and not just get up here and do the routine and kind of explain. Encumbrances, what are encumbrances are? Encumbrances are outstanding legal commitments, they're contracts and purchase orders that have not been fully served as of 9/30 this past September. Throughout the year, finance goes through and makes sure we keep up to date on these legal contracts. When I say legal contract, I mean contracts and POs. Throughout the year, at the end of the year, we kind of do a cleanup, make sure everything's in right shape. We check with departments and we adjust whatever the number should be at that end. And as you know, and as a reminder, at the end of the year, I scrape off what I call a reserve to accommodate those outstanding unserviced contracts and POs carried forward. And as you well know, during the budget process, it does that number that I represent or give y'all a fund balance or working capital does not include any encumbrances. It's purely what's available. So for tonight, what I'm asking is bringing these numbers forward into this year's budget along with the reserve and the outstanding contracts. So this is the purpose of this amendment, is to be more transparent than anything else. We do this every year. I think we had this conversation last year, but it's a good refresher course, especially for the public. I won't take any more of your time, so I'll address any questions you might have at this time.
Questions for Mr. Reyna?
I just wanted to tell you that I like the way you presented it this year with all the funds divided up.
You like that?
I did.
Well,
Thank you.
I'll make sure I tell Wesley. He did an outstanding job.
Yes, he did.
I thought you were going to compliment me on the PowerPoint, because it's the first time I had a PowerPoint in encumbrances. But I appreciate that. I'll pass the word. Thank you.
It was good. Thank you.
All right. If there's no more questions for Mr. Reyna, I'll now open a public hearing on this matter. Anyone wishing to step forward to speak on this issue, please do so now. Seeing none, I'll ask Mr. Foote, is there anybody online? Hearing no one, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on this item. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
We will now move into the consent agenda.
Item D1 on the consent agenda is adoption of the minutes of November 3rd. Item D2 is the approval of the purchase of 6 Ford Explorer Police Interceptors from Silsbee Ford utilizing the Government Cooperative Purchasing Contract Goodbye 20-8F000 in the amount of $237,943.20. Item D3 is the authorization of the city manager to execute a contract with Trailer and Associates for grant administration services related to the CDBG-MIT grant program. Item D4 is to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Doucette and Associates for engineering services related to the CDBG-MIT grant program. And item D5 is to authorize payment to TCEQ for the annual consolidated water quality assessment fee for wastewater treatment plants.
Move we adopt the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now move on for action items for council, please.
Item E1 is to ratify the minor construction contract with J&R Contracting Services Incorporated for the Crestwood Drive Emergency Sanitary Sewer Line Replacement in the amount of $63,200.
I'm going to do a real quick slide presentation. It's already ongoing. The contractor has completed the installation of the line. He's in the current process of backfilling the line. And that's looking away from Main Street, going down towards Navarro. Of course, you can see the barricades. And there's the patchwork they've already completed going towards, again, Navarro. The blockage occurred on October 24th. It was a complete collapse of the line. And we got quotes the 27th. Contractor began November 9th, and we're expecting completion prior to Thanksgiving. And this section will be in the phase 3 of Crestwood, so we won't have to include this line during that construction process or design process. So that's one way or another we were going to get it fixed. It happened to collapse before we could get there. I'll entertain any questions.
Questions from Mr. Gill? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second on item E1. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Item E2 is the resolution to accept a donation from the Victoria 100 Club for the purchase of an Apex Officer X360 Pro Training Simulator from GovRed Technology Incorporated in the amount of $62,500.
You're not Chief Jameson.
I'm not Chief Jameson. I'm happy to fill in for him. I am Captain Moya, Victoria PD. I know most of y'all, all of y'all. Hello. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you for having me. As you know, every year the Victoria 100 Club works with law enforcement and first responders and anything that they need through grant opportunities. So this year, we figured out there was a new way of technology of what we were needing for our officers for the continued training, especially with COVID, and keeping us from having that safe distance and continue our training. So we are seeking approval to purchase the Apex Officer X360 training simulator from GovRed Technology in the amount of $62,500. And this purchase is possible and entirely funded by the generous donation from the Victoria 100 Club. And we appreciate their support that they've given us throughout the years. The virtual or simulated training of real-life incidents better prepare officers in a controlled environment so better decisions are made in the field. And we all know throughout the nation, the way officers are having to make these split decisions and having to go with what they know. And so this training allows them to have that virtual training and have real life or as close to real life scenarios where the heart rate goes up, they're under that stress, and not every time is a shoot, don't shoot. So they can actually do training where they go in and it could just be where they're just talking someone down, or it's a mental health consumer that they're having to talk to. So usually when we do training, when we do our SIMS training or firearms training, you kind of have an idea that you're going to have to probably use some kind of deadly force or lethal force. This gives them that opportunity that not every time it's like that. It can just be where you're just talking to them and you're just actually trying to figure out what's going on. So the Apex Officer System is designed to increase training knowledge, skills, and confidence in a safe, challenging environment that is highly interactive and engaging. And with that, and I'm hoping this video works, have a short video that I would like to play.
We set it up, and within 5 minutes, we were up in the chief's office saying, "Chief, this is the best thing that's happened to us in years. This software, this training equipment is game-changing because you can do everything with it. Shooting range, mental health issues. You can do domestic violence stuff with it. You can do active shooter stuff with it, school shooters. All that stuff you can run through one piece of equipment. And every officer that has jumped in it and tried it so far, after about 5 minutes, they're fully immersed in that world. And when something bad happens, their heart races, the pulse quickens, and they're there, and they have to react. It's just so much different than looking at a TV screen and playing a video game. You're fully immersed. So Corey's been, from the ground floor with this, really been a big part of getting us up to speed and really pushing it with the guys. And we're trying right now, we're doing a room down, our old gym in the basement. We're making that a big empty room. This will constantly be set up. Our hope is to train as many officers as possible to run the scenarios, so many officers as possible can go through the scenarios and just have a constant training. This isn't something we want people to do, oh, once a year you come in and you do scenario training. This, we hope, is something that, hey, we have enough guys on the road tonight, come off the road for a half hour, go through a couple of scenarios, and go back on the road, just to keep things fresh, because every scenario doesn't have to be a shoot or don't shoot scenario. You can bring someone in, you send them to the range, they shoot at the range to get comfortable in the environment, put them on a couple of car stops, that could be regular car stops, they go fine, go to a domestic, the people are compliant, they make an arrest, and that's the end of the training for the day. Because you shouldn't be training, it's always bad. You have to train that it can go good sometimes. That way, when it goes bad in the training, it's more realistic. It's not like, well, I know it's gonna go south because it always goes south. Well, the last couple of times I went through the scenario, it was fine. Now all of a sudden it goes south, you get a better real reaction and you're really immersed in that scenario. What's really cool about this company, they're a startup company, they're about 2 years old. They have 105 agencies right now, mostly West Coast. And for lack of a better term, I was bugging them quite a bit. But they also realized I like to talk, so they said, listen, we want to have an East Coast presence. So what we want to do is we'll ship you the equipment, you set it up, we're going to leave it at your department. It is basically yours. All we ask is if there's a department or an agency that wants to come see it, that they can call you and set up an appointment and just run them through a couple of scenarios. You know, we figured that would be a really good fit for our department, for our agency, and for also all the Cape agencies. You know, we look forward to showing this all to all the Cape chiefs and, you know, hopefully the Mass Criminal Justice Training Council. We've been talking to the state police. State police is going to come in and take a look at it, because everything right now is going towards training, and not only just training, but scenario training.
It's a great tool. I mean, it really changes the training aspect of what we do. It gives so many more levels to our capabilities and training and the safety of officers and also the citizens that we deal with. It's a game changer, it really is.
So not only will we be able to train our officers, we'll be able to be a training hub for this region, for the crossroads, to include the Sheriff's Office, the Fire Department, DPS, any other law enforcement agencies that want to be a part of it or come be a part of the training. We plan on setting it up at our PD North substation in the community room, not the community room that's across the substation, but inside a conference room that we have in there. And you can do it as big as, you know, big room and set your standards up that way on the how big your room is in the virtual reality training. And you can be as small as a 5-foot room, 5 by 5. So we have the space for it, and we're really excited to get it going. And again, I just am excited to be able to show y'all once we do get it up and going, to let y'all run through it and see what it's like to get that view. So thank you. If you have any questions.
Introduce Callie.
Callie Fromm is here from the 100 Club, and we'd like to say thank you, Callie.
Callie, do you want to say anything? Okay. Well, I just want to briefly just add to, for the benefit of the public, that, you know, we already have an amazing training program. You know, Victoria PD has a great reputation across the state for producing great police officers, right? And that's actually one of the things that makes it difficult for us to retain them, because everybody comes and takes them, right? And so this might make that a little harder to keep them. But I think it's important for the general public to know that we have a really great program. We have excellent field training officer, FTOs. You know, we've been very fortunate that some of the situations that have occurred in other communities haven't occurred here, because we have great trained officers. And oftentimes, you know, it's what you don't hear about that tells the level of training. And so our officers are already trained in an excellent manner. This is only going to enhance that. And so we're really excited about that. So.
We are.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Callie.
Thank you. Callie, thank you for very much, and thank the club for this great gift for us. Thank you.
Kelly.
Move to adopt item E2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on item E2. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. think we will now move into city manager's reports.
Yes, sir. We only have one short one for you tonight, and Daryl is already ready to kick it off.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This has been a long time coming, but we talked about a year and a half ago, we talked about the process of the commercial contract that we have and taking a look at bidding that out, taking a look at the city possibly doing it ourselves. And so this is kind of part one of this actually coming to fruition. So on July 26th through August 2nd, we advertised the bids. We thought we'd have a good turnout. We issued the RFP on the 27th. We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting. The reason we do mandatory is because I want to make sure that you're truly interested in this and that we get all the right questions and get the right answers out to everyone who was truly interested. We had 6 people show up for the pre-bid meeting. We did the submittal deadline, and I have the bids. Gilbert has the bids. Our consultants have the bids, and Assistant City Manager Mike has the bids. And so we have been working diligently to go through those bids. We did receive 6 bids. I can list those companies. They're Republic Waste, Waste Management, White Trash Services, local company, Texas Disposal Systems, a company that's not known much around this area, but they are kind of College Station area, which is Big Industries. It's Brandon Industrial Group, and then Frontier Waste out of Corpus Christi. So we did get the kind of the big 3 in the industry with Waste Republic and TDS, but we also got some more smaller but local people who I think have the capability of serving us. We did ask for, if you remember, we asked for 5 different bids. We asked for an all-in, one for just household hazardous waste, one just for residential, one just for commercial, and one just for roll-off. We did not get any individual bids. We only got all-in bids. So we began the process of going through them. Gilbert and I will have a conference call the week after Thanksgiving on December 1st with our consultants to start the process. We are on track so that in December, we can start conducting our in-person meetings. By mid-December through January, we'll start contract negotiations. We'll pick the top 2 and kind of get after it at that point, and we're still on track to come back in hopefully the first meeting in February with a decision. I would like to remind council, if we do decide to look at this on our own as opposed to going with another contract, that may add a little bit of time in here, but we'll see how these contracts play out. I think we've got some really good bids, and I'll answer any questions.
When you bring back the 2 top bids, are you going to include one for the city, or are you just going to give us the top 2 bids?
We will give you the top 2 bids. If we feel that we can compete.
Part of the analysis will be us looking at ourselves too as well. So when it comes before you, you will have a final decision from staff recommendation, if it's us or them. type of deal.
Yeah, because if you've been putting that much time into it, I would like to see the bid for the city too. Okay?
I would like to remind council that we did not receive any individual bids. So if we do it ourselves, we would only do the commercial. I would have to go back out and seek individual bids. So that's where it may add some time, because I'd have to seek individual bids for the roll-off, the household hazardous waste, and running our recycling facility. So not saying that it won't happen, just saying that that may add a little bit of time to our time schedule if we have to do that.
Okay.
We were hoping that we'd get those in, we just didn't. If there's no other questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Does that conclude your reports tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we will necessitate quick executive session.
Okay. Well, we will now recess into executive session. I have 5:50,
Yes, sir.
and I doubt that we will not be returning for any decisions or any action by council. So,
The city council will recess for executive session on the 17th day of November 2020 at 5:50 PM. The subject matter of the executive session deliberation is as follows. Executive session in accordance with Texas Government Code 551.087 to discuss or deliberate the offer to a financial or other incentive to a business prospect that the city council seeks to have, locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the city of Victoria, and with which the city of Victoria is conducting economic development negotiations, and an executive session in accordance with Texas Government Code 551.072 and to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property interest due to the fact that deliberation in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the city in negotiations with a third party. Thank you.
offline,